Issue 286. This is a really boring story, not motivating me to talk about it. The first page is just reminding you what's going on with all the other main characters, and then we see Eggman having typical villain banter. Why isn't Sonic homing attacking at his mecha the entire time instead of cowardly running away from him while smirking somehow? Eggman didn't explain that his mecha is made of such tough materials that Sonic couldn't damage it with a spin dash. Like, moving at Sonic's speed would destroy it. Eggman explains that his army will keep each chunk of the world weak and under his control, and if anyone wants a chance at restoring the planet, they'll have to give him everything he wants. Oh, so this is just a bid to take over the whole world. I just don't see how it isn't already restored, because all of the emeralds were put in the Gaia temples. And I saw it in the game. The second an emerald is put in one of the temples, a continent gets restored to its rightful place. It doesn't work like this. The ancients wouldn't have it work like this, for this very reason. Sonic reveals that if he rescues Chip, he'll stop Eggman, and Eggman had specifically told him he didn't want him near this thing's head, so he runs up the wall or something, which is stupid. Eventually, after he keeps running away boringly, he says on top of Eggman's dome that he's counting on his friends to handle the rest of the plan, which means he's free to toy with Eggman. Why is it the Egg Dragoon? The story is so horribly boring. It's just an Unleashed concept again. At least the plot is different. But I wouldn't have liked Archie Sonic in the first place if it was like this to begin with, because I'm getting nothing new out of it. I guess Eggman uses mecha to smack a part of the wall. Antoine holds something and Bunny sends a laser through Eta, killing him immediately. So it skipped past the entirety of a new fight in favor of showing us Sonic run away from Eggman's mecha. What the hell was he thinking? This is an action series. Didn't he realize people were looking forward to seeing this? The heroes wanted to get revenge on these robots. Well, I guess it can make sense that Bunny beat the robot in one hit because Rotor made her laser that good. So good that it blasts through the best metal Eggman has. At least I assume it's the best metal. But that doesn't make a proper action scene to watch. It's like how it's realistic that Sonic beats robots in one hit in Sonic X no matter how big they are, but that's not fun to watch. It's not like the story has to be short, and so it has to be fast-paced. Sally wishes she had Cream and Big backing them up, so now she wants Cream in danger. She contacts Tails on the tablet saying that they're pressing onto the central tower, and she asks if he's okay. Tails then targets Iota in the sky. Oh, so is this when his plane's gonna get shot down? Like in the game? Tails disables Iota just fine in one attack. The text box isn't even trying to explain why Rotor said, "Thank you, Eggman Tech," because they're still in one piece. I'm more interested in learning how Eggman's airship is doing than Rotor's thank you, because I know it's a foregone conclusion that the heroes will win. While Cubot says his shields have barely been scratched, Orbot says that all their weapons fire is draining their reserves, and Eggman will be angry if they don't have the power to reach Eggman Land. Orbot says that it looks like they're in a holding pattern because of their engine damage, so he plots out where their next pass should be and focuses all their fire, and hits the Sky Patrol successfully. That seems like almost the first time Orbot himself has done something evil. And it's not like he had to here. Sonic bounced off falling rocks thinking that Eggman keeps cutting him off so he can't get to Chip, and he can't hit that mech hard enough. Then he gets trapped in Ice Butt. Eggman brags that now he wins, but most series don't want to let their main villain win, so I'm sure he'll get rescued any second now. Eggman's mecha threatens him, and then Sonic becomes the Werehog, and I'm just wondering how he broke out of the ice. I guess the attack from the mecha did it, but how did it not hit and kill Sonic then? I wish Sonic could have just been rescued by one of his friends instead of the mecha's attack miraculously missing him. That'd be creative. The whole time he was fighting Sonic in that mecha, I was getting issue 200 flashbacks. And Eggman telling Sonic to stay away from him like he's scared of losing again also reminded me of that. Issue 200 was a bit more interesting than this. Sonic attacks the mecha with his arm, using super strength I guess. He's just doing the same thing over and over. Eventually he spins the Eggmobile around and throws it. and I wonder how Eggman could possibly survive the eventual landing. At least Sonic hit him a whole bunch of times, justifying his victory being earned properly. But it's still boring. He did nothing until the end. I guess the way Sonic got himself up to Chip was that he flung himself up through the green squares that are windows by using his arms on the red thing. Don't know why there was a bunch of dust and the word boom though. Sonic frees Chip and then falls over screaming, I guess because of Dark Gaia wanting to come back and suck up his Dark Gaia energy. It's boring having the plot be just like the game. I don't see the point of this. At that point I've tuned out and don't want to humor the story anymore. I just want it to end right away because I know how the rest of the plot's gonna go. At least in a general sense, because thankfully there's still new stuff happening. Warbot tells Eggman he's getting worrisome readings from the Spire, and Eggman says Sonic's doomed them all, and the Dark Gaia energy leaves the badniks that don't have animals in them, with Sally saying that the system's been bugging out. Can I just skip to the part where it's original again? We've all seen the ending of Unleashed. We know that Sonic's gonna lose his Werehog form, go super, and effortlessly beat Dark Gaia. I don't want to read this anymore, but I'm forced to take forever making a video of this issue, because it's a Sonic story. I just want to skip to the part where the plot's original again. Sally can't disable the Spire, so Bunny gets her friends to safety. Of course not, disabling the Spire would be original and end the arc already. I don't care anymore. I'm especially not motivated to read the dialogue in the purple text box because it's in a purple text box. Why are entire goddamn pages being wasted on this worthless, redundant crap nobody in the universe cares about? We know Sonic's gonna win. No point in taking Dark Gaia seriously. The story should just skip to the end. I'm honestly not even reading it anymore because it's the exact same plot as the game. Oh, for fuck's sake. They wasted so much valuable comic space on padding that the story has to end before Dark Gaia can be defeated. If that fight's not super interesting and original, I'm skipping to the end of it. Because what could there possibly be for me to say? What's the point of summarizing the story that you're already clearly seeing when there's no new plot holes to point out? The off panel's more interesting than this story. It shows off the idea that Dark Gaia can manifest as an evil Chip. And Sonic just says, nah, we're not doing this. Because it's making fun of how much of an overdone cliche the evil twin concept is. That's why it can't be played straight. If it's just gonna be there, there's no point. It has to be fully delved into and deconstructed. Or I'll just be wondering why an evil twin could possibly be the way he is with the same DNA as a good person. But Dark Gaia is actually a different person from Chip. So it makes sense here. It actually makes more sense than in the game. I don't know why Chip manifests on the Earth as a physical form like this, but Dark Gaia never had anything like this. If it weren't for his annoying dialogue where he's way too enthusiastic about a cliche, I'd actually wish that this was an actual story. Because at least this isn't the exact same plot as in the game. At least they'd make Dark Gaia a character. This issue is by Ian Flynn, and it was a boring story you're better off skipping because it's almost exactly the same ending as in the game. The only difference is that, because Chip is kidnapped by Eggman in the head of the Gaia Colossus, Sonic's just running away from the Egg Dragoon trying to get the Chip, and he runs up the Gaia Colossus at some point. And the story skips past showing us Sally's fight with Ada, as it dies in one hit after all the trouble it gave Sonic. So does Iota! So instead of us seeing an action scene, which should have been most of the story, we see Sonic running away and Eggman having boring villain banter. There was a bit of hype because Sally was facing off with the same robots that gave her friends and her a huge amount of trouble, but nope, that'd be original. But it'd also probably be as boring to see as Sonic the Werehog hitting the Egg Dragoon a ton of times, because I'd probably just see the heroes hitting the thing over and over again. Long story short, Sonic saves Chip and sends Eggman away, and Eggman somehow survives that. And Sonic loses his Werehog form and goes super, after Sally of course fails to stop the Dark Gaia Spear. The story feels very obligatory and redundant. It's just there because the reboot is having an Unleashed ripoff adaptation, but because it's pointless to show the same story again, it really makes me wish the writer had the common sense and awareness of his audience to just rush through it and end the arc as fast as possible at this point. Sonic could have turned Werehog and saved Chip immediately, considering how boring and forgettable the Egg Dragoon encounter was, where nothing happened in it. Nothing happened to take advantage of it being Sonic here and not the Werehog. Then he could have been written to turn Super, and go through Dark Eye and kill it instantly, like it would make sense, and end the arc right away. Instead, the writer intentionally has tons of padding to force you to buy more issues. I can imagine that this and the next issue got relatively poor sales, because who the fuck would want to read this boring waste of time when most of the Sonic fanbase already knows the plot of Unleashed? It'd only be appealing to someone who doesn't know the plot of Unleashed, like someone who's only a comic fan of the Sonic series. But I can imagine almost all of them fled the franchise after the reboot stopped appealing to them. The appeal of the story is supposed to be that it's the tense epic finale of the arc. It would be tense like it's trying to be, except I know Sonic has to win and none of his friends will die, and it's just a plot that's stolen. So it's just redundant and should end already. The second Sonic is faced with Eggman and a mecha, you know that he's guaranteed to win. I think the only time that didn't happen was after Knothole was just destroyed. And Eggman had to grab the idiot ball and not kill or capture Sonic after that victory. So the writer wrote himself into a corner. The story's not worth reading. It's not creative, so you wouldn't be confused if you skipped the issue, and you wouldn't miss anything. You don't miss anything by not reading an uncreative story. It's not like it's got tons of plot holes or horrible characters. It's just painfully boring to the point where I stopped paying any attention to it at some point. I guess I'll read all the dialogue in the video making process, but I highly doubt it'll be worth it. Unless the dialogue really sucks, I have nothing to say anyways. What's the point of this? Everyone knows this plot already.